Yeah, okay. So as we discussed in the last session, the main difference in between a do and a do while loop is it is starts from the condition only. So once it will be started, and after that it will go for the condition. So based on the condition, and the remaining loop will continue. So here in this self, it will starts with the condition. So this is the main concept of while and a do while. We already discussed about the example. I think I need to show the example again. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. See this one. CRRECE. Is it data types? 1 second. Let me check this out. Yeah. So this is that one. While and do while. Yep. Okay. So basis on that, just we printed the numbers. So here, what is the syntax for the do? It starts with a keyword and there is a block and there is a block. This do statement block will execute it first and then loop will continue based on the condition. And here inside a while, it already starts with, I mean, it always starts with the condition. If the condition satisfies, it enters into the block. 1 second. Yeah, okay. So this is all about a while and a do while. Just for our information point of view, I'm telling maximum we won't use while and the do while in the programming sense. But according to the, I mean, examination point of view, it is essential to mention these two things. Okay, there is no need to bother about this one. Okay, if you have any doubt in this, we'll discuss later. So now itself, we are going for next topic called, let me share you my slide. Yeah. So Java methods. So as per your syllabus, they directly mention the Java methods. But before this, I want to tell you one thing. So what is that one? The OOPS concepts. So here onwards, the OOPS concepts will start. So we already discussed about an object and a class. Again, I'm going to tell you what is an object. It is the general thing. The object in the sense, if you are staying at your home, each and everything, whether it is a pen or a pencil, each and everything we will call it as an object. Again, I'm telling object inside, I mean the general things, we are going to tell object as the physical things that we touch. So it's like a fan is also one of the objects. So each and everything we considered as an object. So what is a class? What we discussed till now. So each and every program of a Java already always starts with a class. So class is the collection of statements that consisting of objects. So where the object will be created, for what the thing object will be created, for the class the object will be created. So where it will be created inside a memory, inside a heap area. So inside a heap area, the object will be created. So these two things are a common things. From here onwards, everything will continue. These are the main things we need to remember. The first one is the inheritance. Just I will go for a general definition about all these things. And then we are having in detail explanation for it for each and every remaining topic for these four things. Okay, these are the main things we need to discuss. First of all, inheritance. Inheritance in the sense that if there are a two, I mean, there are a parent or a sub, what we call that, there are three words for the class. One is a parent class, and next one is a derived, sorry, we will call it as a class. So just I want to type it on over there. This I will tell you. Wait a second. We'll take it as a parent class. No, this is the main class we're going to take. Yeah, this is the main class. And now I'm going to take one more class over here. Don't you think like I'm going directly to the inheritance just for your I mean idea point of view, just for your information point of view, I'm telling this is a parent class. This is a parent class, and now I'm going for a child class. So when we can say this is a child class for the parent class, when we are going to tell this is a subclass, this is a subclass or a child class for the parent class, then only when we get all the properties of this class towards this class. Again, I'm telling you, to acquire all the properties of this class by this class. How you are going to get that? By using a keyword extends. So inside a Java, there is a keyword. Again, I'm telling you how we are going to acquire all the properties of a parent class. So properties in the sense, the general thing, like you are going to acquire the properties of your parents. They have a fixed assets. What are all the things? Even looks also like you will get some properties of your parents, and you people are having some different properties. These people are having some different properties, they won't share with you. Each and everything will not be shared with you, and you people are having somewhat a different properties. If it's a general thing, like your parents don't know English, you know the English, right? So the same thing. So you don't know somewhat a Tamil, your parents know that, but the properties, some properties will be acquired by the child class by using an extends keyword. Okay, like the parent class, we need to mention the name of the parent over here. Like the general thing, after your name, your parents' surname will be there. In Tamil Nadu, some other regions, like directly the father's name will be there after the marriage. The husband's name will be there at the end of the particular person. Okay, so this is what about all about inheritance. Okay, so sometimes we'll call this as a derived class also, child class or a subclass. This is a parent class. Okay. Okay, this is all about the inheritance concept. So just I'm telling you the information point of view. This is like a definition. Think like a definition. By this example, you will get a clear idea. That's why I showed it to you. Okay, next one. Encapsulation. This is a concept completely based on the privacy. This is like a block. One second, there is a disturbance. Okay, yeah. So here, now we are going to discuss about the encapsulation. Encapsulate, hide it. You think like hide it. Encapsulate in the sense just hiding the information. So you are giving the security to the program. How you are going to give the security to the program? If you want to hide any information from others, we are going to use an access controls or access statements. How many access statements are available, or how many access controls are available inside a Java? There are mainly three, but if you didn't mention anything, we'll call it as default. So basis on that, if you want to give anything, I mean the privacy to the data, if you want to give anything privacy to the data, just here I'm going to mention like public static void main. So here inside a main method, I want to hide some information. Here, these people, the parent people wants to hide some information, private, and I'm going to take just 1 second. Again, this guy came. So here I want to hide some information from my class. Think like this is a my class. Okay, this is my class. And some people are like, okay, you people are asking some to share some information. And this is also one of the other guy. He asks you to share some information, but you are having some things that you don't want to share. So think like only the particular people only, they need to know that if there is an Aadhaar card. So here, if like think like an Aadhaar card, if someone calls you and he asks about the other information and all, you should not give, because those are the confidential thing. So you should not give your Aadhaar number also. In that way, these people made some encapsulated data. So data hiding, we'll call it as a data hiding. So you are going to hide your data by using some access control. So suppose I'm going to take like int ID. So this ID is like, I don't want to share to these people. I don't want to share with these people. Even myself, sometimes I want to hide some more information. So basis on that, we have to mention a private access over here. How many access control we have? One is a private, next one is a public, and one more is a protected. So there is a table for that. So after that, we are going to check how we are going to take the access control of a particular variables or not. This is all about an encapsulation. So I'm going to create an object for this to access this data. Okay, let me declare it as a default one also. If I didn't mention anything, it will be like a default. So this is ID2. This is ID2. Just I mentioned the name. Don't you think about this? So I want to access this one. How I'm going to access this? Creating by creating object of this class, private, sorry, parent, parent class, the name of the class, and the new. By using a new keyword, you are going to create an object for that, and then the parent class. So here I created a parent class object, and I'm going to access it. Parent class dot ID. So here, this is not allowed. See this one, ID has been private access in a parent class. Please don't ask me to share that information, because this is my ID and this is the data. I want to keep it confidential. So I don't want to share it. This is how the encapsulation or the data hiding takes place. Okay, this is all about the encapsulation. So you're not going to share the data that which is a confidential thing for you. Okay, let me show you again this one. Okay, so polymorphism in the sense, write once and use many times. Again, I'm telling you, write once and use many times. That's right. Excuse me, I got a call. Yeah, okay. What is a polymorphism? Poly in the sense of many. Morphism, morphism in the sense of forms. Polymorphism in the sense of many forms. So if we declare one thing and we are going to use a many times, actually in the Java, we just declare once and then we'll use so many times. These things are like, I think with the example, you will get this one. So it is like, at the time of overriding concept, you will get a clear idea about this. I don't want to discuss this one right now. Okay, polymorphism, that's like, think like the polymorphism in sense like a many forms. One thing is available, then again according to the usage you are going to use a many times. So at the time you will get a clear idea about this. If I go on my words, I need to give a clear example for that. I don't want to tell you right now. And this is the abstraction. So the abstraction concept will come by using abstract methods. So it will be available in the sense of interfaces. Why do we need an interface? That is like, for the past 7 classes, I'm teaching to the second year people. 7 classes it took. So the interfaces concept, what is the interfaces concept? The inheritance concepts consisting of a 5 steps. I mean, it is of a 5 types. One is a single inheritance. Second one is a multi-level inheritance. Next one is a hierarchical. And next one is a multiple. Next one is a hybrid. So the Java does not allow a multiple inheritance as well as a hybrid inheritance. To overcome this inheritance, like a multiple and hybrid inheritance, they introduce these abstraction method, which are very useful for the concept of an interfaces. To overcome, there is an issue over here. So to overcome this, they introduces interfaces concepts inside a Java. So which is a very, very, very important topics. When you are going to acquire the properties of a parent element, there you are going to use extends keyword in the sense of an abstraction or a what we call that interfaces, we'll use a keyword implements. Implement in the sense you need to get an idea about that. Implement in the sense, okay, inside an interface, there is no implementation. Again, I'm telling you, inside an interface, there is no implementation. Okay, by using that interface, I need to implement myself. This is what you need to understand. Extends in the sense, I need to extend some property by acquiring the parent one. So these keywords will tell you about the information maximum. So to overcome some concepts inside, which is not possible in inheritance, we are going to sort it out inside an interfaces concept by using an abstraction. Abstraction in the sense is nothing but just it's an abstract method which is declared over there and then implemented somewhere else. The abstract method does not contain the implementation. It will be implemented towards the things they implemented it, the interface. There also you will get a clear idea with an example. So these two things are, will get a detailed information at the time of a topic. I think inside a second unit we have. Okay, now we are going for the methods. Why I explained this one at this stage? Actually, I need to explain it in the first, but it is now essential because when we are going into the method overloadings and the methods, we need to check it out. Okay, these are the Java methods. What is a method? Method is nothing but like a function inside a C language. What the function consisting of? Function consisting of a statements. What are the statements? They are variables or some other things in between a block. So inside a block, we are going to get some information. By using a method calling, we are going to take that. Okay, we need to generally think about the definition and all according to the examination point of view. So for that, a method is a block of code which only runs when it is called. Everyone knows that. Okay, so this is the thing, just you will remember this one. You can pass data known as a parameters. Here in this sense, parameters or arguments, both are same. So we'll pass some data according to our information point of view, okay, into a method. Okay, methods are used to perform a certain actions and they're also known as a functions. Yeah, inside a C language, we'll call it as a function, but throughout the Java, we are going to use a method name. So what the method consisting of? It consisting of a parameter or objects or arguments. What are all the things available in between the braces after the method name? It is like parameters or an arguments. Okay. So there is a block inside this block, braces in the sense a block. This is starting block. This is the ending block. Okay. It consisting of a method body and there is a return type if available. If return type is available, we need to return it. I think in last class, I just explained this one, right? Okay, it's okay. So there is a return type. So whether it will be void, there is no return type. And if it is like some primitive data types, we need to return it according to the situation, according to the context. Okay. Okay. We'll go for the general example for that. I will go for it. Just I want to tell you one thing. So yesterday, I want to share you this one. Wait a second. Where is this? Where is this? So this is the course outcome, what you people are having. There are some coding standards following by the organizations. You have to tell them, you have to mention what the program is going to do by using the comments also. Comments are the essential parts for the programming language. There you need to mention the comment over there. Like how many comments are available inside a Java? There are three things. Three comments are available. One is a single line. Next one is a multiple lines. And the third one is a descriptive comment. The descriptive comment consisting of each and every information of the program, what it will do, where it is stored, how many parameters is consisting of, everything will be shown by the descriptive comment, and the multiple comments in the sense if there is any a particular method available before that, we need to mention that. I will show you that example also. We'll go for that. So that's why I told you about that. What is the course outcome? Just they will tell in a good manner. Just follow that rules. Okay. So how the coding standard consisting of? I should not mention even a main class. This is all about if I'm going to do something like, see this one, I'm going to discuss about a method concept. So inside this, I need to mention method demonstration. So method demo. See this one, I mentioned in this way. So this is telling somewhat about the program. The name of the class is telling somewhat about the program. I need to mention like a descriptive comment. How you are going to do that? / and there are two stars. And after that, it ends with a star and a star. Each and everything in between these two things, there will be a stars. What you need to tell at author, already said this one. Author in the sense, yeah, I'm working on it. So like this, at param, what you want to mention, what are all the things available. So you need to mention everything over here like this. Okay. Remember this one, this is a descriptive comment and you need to tell about each and everything about the program. So this is how we follow the coding standards. So directly the class is saying about what the program is going to demonstrate. Now we are going to discuss about the method. There are two things we need to observe that actually last already I explained this, I think. Yeah, it's okay. Like a static and this one. It's okay. Method demo. So I'm going to call a method by using a two parameters. In the last class, I already said that add two things. So from here onwards, I'm going to take a 2, 3. I'm going to send it. So for this, there should be a method declaration. How you are going to declare a method outside? You need to create like void. I'm not going to return any type like add. So already every time I need to get it. 1 second, this guy came again. Yeah. Okay. So we'll call this as a calling function. What the calling function consisting of are two arguments. I'm going to pass this to this. Why I mentioned a static over here? Each and every main method or every static method expects a static method only. If you want to access a without a static method, you need to create an object for this. I already said this already in the last class. I need to create an object for the class method demo. Method demo is equals to new method demo. So by using this method demo name, then we need to call that. There are two ways to access this one. Sometimes according to our usage, we are going to do that. There is a / and descriptive comment. See this one directly, param A and param B. What it will use? The integer values. So this is, sorry, this is about the coding standards and all, some based on the organization. So like a param consisting of, this is like a add method. So add method, like each and everything we need to mention this is about this method, what it is going to do. It is going to do an addition, that's it. We need to mention, we need to write over here. I'm not going to mention it. So if there is a static over here, there is no need of a object class. So by using the object we are going to access this. If it is a static, there is no need of this reference. Okay, just remember this one. This is all about a method. So the method consisting of a return type. Next I'm going to tell you about the return type. Here I'm going to mention like, yeah, so inside a brackets I'm going to take a b. So I didn't explain this one in last class. Please concentrate on this topic. If there is any return statement, we need to mention a return statement like this. Okay, so it has been done. So here return value of the method is never used. How did the compiler came to know that this is a warning? So this is a warning that it is selling. So I didn't use the return number. Why it is not used? Because already I accessed this. Let me remove this one. So I accessed this, but I didn't use this one. If I'm going to run this program, nothing will show. Yes, I'm running it, right? See this one, there is no output. Only we just returned a value to this position, but I didn't assign it. If you want to print that one, you need to mention all this inside system.out.println statement. You need to mention all these inside a println statement. Let me show you that one. So I like the static methods. Yes, it is a good for me. There is no need to every time access this. Delete. Okay. So which is good looking. So okay. So now you will get a output for this. So if you want to get this one, so if you want to print this one, there is a return statement. So it is going to return some value towards this calling statement. So now I'm going to run this program. See this one. So if you want to return any statement, there are two ways for doing these two things. Like you need to take an integer and I is equals to this is also one of the way. The return value will come over here and it will assign to variable I, and the I we are going to print that. This is also one of the way. This is how the return statement will work inside a method. Okay. Okay. Okay, it has been done. And I want to tell you one more thing. After a return statement, what you mentioned that will not work on. So the compiler will work till this statement only. If you mention anything after the return statement, like system dot out dot println hello world. So if you mention anything after the return statement, will not execute. Okay, see this one. Unreachable statement. So which will not reach. After the return statement, you should not write anything. Everything, if you want to write anything, I mean, if you want to write anything before return statement, it is possible. So this is also one of the questions that people will ask in interview. Sometimes only after the return statement, nothing is reachable. So everything, if you want to write anything inside a method block, you need to write before it a return statement. Okay, remember this one. After the return statement, you should not write anything. Okay, this is the condition. You need to remember this. Okay, let me go for a slide. So this is all about the methods, how you're going to write a method, how you're going to pass the parameter values, and how you're going to use a return value. Okay. So this is the syntax for that. Already discussed about this one. Now we are going to discuss about the overloading concept, which is a very, very important concept inside a Java. Overloading and overriding. There are two things. Maximum in interviews, they will ask the difference in between the overloading and overriding. Okay, remember this one. So what is the overloading? First, we will discuss about the method overloading. After that, we'll go for a constructor overloading. There are two ways, two types inside, two cases, not we say the two types. There are two cases for overloading concept, which we are going to use methods for overloading concept as well as the constructors also. So what is a method? Already we discussed that there is a method consisting of a parameters inside a block. We are going to we are having some statements. Basis on the statement, we are going to achieve particular functionality, and it consisting of a return statement. But what is this overloading concept? Overloading in the sense. So why I mentioned the bulb over, if what happens if it overloads, like it will explode, the current overloading concept. So that's why I mentioned this one. Don't you bother about this, why he mentioned this. Okay. If a class has multiple methods, again I'm telling you, class is having a multiple methods. The main is itself a method. You know that, right? The main itself a method. So there are some methods are available. Okay. With the same name. Remember this word. This is the main word. With the same name. There are one or two or three or four or so on. There are so many methods are available with the same name, but different in parameters. Parameters in the sense the arguments. So difference in the sense, if it is having a parameter one and the next one with the same name having two parameters and the next one three parameters. So why we need this? Okay, I will give you the example later. See this one. So if a class having multiple methods having the same name but difference in parameters, different in parameters or an argument, it is known as a method overloading. Okay, one of the method with the same name will overload by the another method. So when you are going to pass as two arguments, it will overload the arguments, with overload the same method with the same name of single argument. It will overload by it according to the parameters what we are passing at the time of method calling. What we are passing at the time of a method calling. There are two ways of overloading the method inside a Java. By changing the number of arguments, by changing the data type. We are not going to discuss this one. First of all, we are going to discuss this. Later, we discuss this one. Okay. The sense of overriding somewhat a different concept. There also we are having the same name, but the same return type, the same arguments are essentially in the sense of an overriding. But in the sense of an overloading, the method name is same, but the arguments are different. Okay. How you are going to achieve method overloading in Java? We'll take one more so that it is easy for you. So method overload. This is somewhat a big. Okay. So as we know that every class starts with a capital letter. Remember this. Again, I'm telling you. Okay. So here method overloading concepts starts from public static void main. Okay. Sorry. Yeah. So here I'm going to take the method names as public void. I don't want to mention a public. Already this is a public class. Why should we need this? Yeah. Yeah. Addition. We are going to think about the addition right now. And okay, there is a block. And again, I'm going to take one more thing. Add with the same name. How the overloading concept will occur? The name of the method should be same. And again, So if we didn't mention any parameters, see what will happen. Add is already defined, then why again you are going to do that? So here itself I'm going to take a single value or a parameter inside a method, and here I'm going to take two parameters over here. Int b. See this one, the error has been gone. This is what about all about the method overloading. This is about the overloading. Having the same method names and having a different parameters. When it will be useful? When a person just consider a calculator. The calculator screen, does you know the functionality? You don't know, right? Directly, I mean, in your mobile, you are typing the numbers. So you don't know that. So sometimes you need a 3 digits or sometimes you need a 4 digits to add. So 1 plus 3 plus or a 5. So 8 plus 1, 9. So there are a 3 parameters you are passing. So sometimes you are going to send 100 parameters according to your usage point of view. So in that sense, they used this concept. You are going to give the input that this function, I mean, the programmer don't know. That's why he are going to mention this methods like overloading concept. When you are going to add two things, like see directly, if I'm going to send one, so it will be displayed inside a screen, and again you are going to use a functionality plus, and then you are going to add one more item, 1 plus a 2, just you typed over there. So according to that situation, this overloading will use. So again, I'm going to take, yes, I will take one more thing. Void add 3 digits. Don't you say like, sir, if it is like 100, then you are going to take 100 methods over here. No, that concept was different. So for your information point of view, I'm just telling this, okay, how the overloading will occur. So I'm going to take one more thing because the 3 is also good, and see. Okay, see this one. So now I'm going to, and yes, I want to return directly, return A, return A plus B. Okay. Why it is showing error? Okay. I need to mention the return statement over here. Okay, good. A plus B plus C. Yeah, okay. We are done well. So now I'm going to access this. How you are going to calling these functions? So class, sorry. Because all these are not a static methods. If the thing will happen over here. So I don't want to mention the static right now. Just I want to create the object of the class. What is the name of the class name? Method overload. Okay, I'm going to take it as method overload is equals to new by using the keyword, and I'm going to create an object. Yes, I created an object for this. So what is the declaration of an object? I already said that. That's why I'm not telling it to you. By using a new keyword, you're going to create a memory allocation inside heap area by the Java virtual machine. Okay. So now I'm going to access this value. I'm going to pass this value. We don't know. I mean, we are the programmers. We don't know that the end user, how much values he is going to give. So in my sense, think like I'm an end user. I'm a user right now. I'm a user. So I don't know these values. How many values I mean is going to add. Right now I'm going to take the system dot, sorry, lambda's coming. I'm going to take an int I is equals to add. So here I'm going to take the system dot out dot I will take it as a value. Okay. So here now a user came in. Think like this is a calculator. A user came in. Okay. So already there is an add function. and he is going supposed to send 2 and 3. He's supposed to send 2 and 3. Why? Yeah, I need to use a object name or else it throws error because these are not a static methods. So I'm going to send two parameter values. I need to add these two things. Yeah, we already know that if we send this one, see this one, 5. So this method having two parameters is overloaded the main, these other two. When we are going to call with the parameters, it will be highlighted over here. This is the use of a tools. Here, see this one, add has been highlighted and this method is not highlighted. And now I'm going to send one more thing. So see this one, now it has been highlighted. So this is all about, we need to know about the end user. We don't know about the end user, how many values he is going to pass. Okay, he don't know about all these things. Okay, directly I'm saying like I'm sending the values only. Okay, this is all about method overloading. So each and every time according to our usage, it will be overloaded. The method what you called will be overloaded. So what is the main concept of overloading? Is having the same method name but difference in the parameters. In the sense of a method overriding, they are having the same method name, same method, I mean the parameters and the same return type. This is all about the overloading concept of a method overloading. Okay, if I want to change anything like this, no, I'll take it as a float. Yeah. Yeah. So we need to mention a float. I'm going to make it. So there are two types, right? So I'm telling you, there are two types of a method overloading. One for the constructor and one for the, let me share this. Yeah. By changing the data type. So we can directly change the data type. That doesn't matter. Yeah. And it doesn't affect it. So basis on that, just I'm showing you how you're going to do that. So there is already a method name and it will shows the error because it is a float value. It is returning a float value. So I'm going to delete this. Directly, I'm going to mention this inside. Okay, then this is good for us. So if you change the data types also, it doesn't matter. So if you want to run this program, just remove this one. So say this one, because this is a float number. That's why it is showing like this, decimal values. So where it is, the decimal values are allowed inside a float or a double. We already know that. Okay, now if you want to send two things, that doesn't bother about that. Just simply the overloading concept allows some different data types also. That doesn't matter. Okay, so it won't affect anything inside a programming language. Sometimes we don't know about the end user whether he's going to give the decimal values or integers. So basis on that, we need to write like this also. Okay. Okay. So time is done because the constructor is like, this is the thing we have to take some more time to explain. So this is all about the method overloading. And in the in tomorrow session, or I think on a Monday session, we are going to discuss about constructor overloading, which is a very important thing. And maybe you can expect from a question from overloading or overriding. You can expect question inside your examination. Okay. So, sir, tell about overriding. Overriding concept will come at the stage of a polymorphism concept. So, there is no need to bother about that. Okay, if you want to ask me, just I will tell you the main difference in between method overriding and method overloading. This is the concept of a method overloading. So, what is a method overloading? It is having the same method names and difference in the parameters. So, the parameters in the sense one parameter is available over here, and here two parameters, and here three parameters are available. So in the sense of a method overriding, I'm not going to give you an example right now because there will go in detail about that. Okay. So there, in the sense of a method overriding, we are having same method names and same values also, same parameters also. We should not go for three over here. We should not go for like this. So everything will be same over there, and the return type should be same, and this return type should be same. Okay, you have to remember this one. Okay, so this is the main difference over there. Everything will be same in the sense of overriding. Everything is not same, only the method name is the same over here, but difference in the parameters, which we call it as method overloading. Okay, I think the 2 minutes left, right? Yeah, I think you got good information today. Go through the topic. I think already said about the prescribed textbook. Please get the textbook and read it. Okay, I'm going to provide the material of the end of the unit. There is no need to bother about that. Okay, doubts? Okay, okay. Thank you. Have a nice day. You may leave the class.